Hello. Happy Sunday. Because I consider you my family, I want to share something with you, and maybe my life experience will help somebody else. December 7th, a day that will live in infamy, right? It's a bad day. It started World War II when Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. But for me, it has two silver linings. The first one is the day I brought my wife and my three boys that I have finally adopted from Colombia to the United States. That was on December 7th. That was 8 years ago. And December 7th, which is Monday, is the day after 10 years that I stopped paying alimony. And I can tell you it was a significant amount over the last few years. And some years was when I made the arrangements, I wanted to do the right thing for my other family. But I got to tell you something, there were some years that paying a lot of money was hard, and that's what I want to get to. 10 years. Now, some people don't do things or think something is hard because of time. And I'm going to tell you what time could tell you. Time passes. 10 years is gone. It's over for me. How many of you maybe want to go back to school, but you say, oh, that's 4 years. Well, 4 years is gone, and 2 years is gone, and 10 years is gone. Time marches on, and unfortunately, when you're young, you don't think about these things. When you get older, you kind of put everything in perspective. Uh, Without getting too religious, if if God brings you through it, God will get you through it. So it's my mantra. But I just want to just share that with you because really, time marches on, and if you want to do something, don't put it off tomorrow. Do it today. I want to tell you a funny story. After I got divorced, I went on I maybe Plenty of Fish or Match.com or whatever. I went on some dating sites, and who did I see there? I see my ex-wife there, and she had this. Again, I don't want to get too personal, but it really was a lot of money. It was basically first year CEO kind of salary with my alimony. But she put like as a job executive, and then she put her salary in the six figures, and I called her up and asked her, oh, I want if she was working, and she told me no. So I guess I was her employer. But I just thought that was funny because you can laugh about it now because 10 years are gone. So that's my take on that. Let's talk about the produce business. We're coming out of, there's like 9 weeks of the year. I usually don't, when I was a speculator in the produce business, I guess we're all speculators, never stops. That things never got cheap enough. And that was first 2 weeks in January, last 2 weeks of February, last 2 weeks of August through 6. The 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, it's 8. I must be missing a week, but I never speculated this week because no matter how cheap stuff was, it just never was cheap enough. And we just went through one of those weeks. And anybody that does FOB or terminal markets knew that it was just a slide. You thought cukes were cheap at 12, then they went to 10, then you could buy good supers for 8. And I'm sure you could buy, I'm sure a lot of them went out the doors right after sale too. So, and that's just not cukes. It was squash. It was Roma tomatoes. It was almost every item, right? So. And that brings me to another point, another lesson. Getting back to like a suspension agreement, and then with tomatoes, and now they're trying to do it with the cucumbers and other items. And this is not about that. It's about most of these items are under production cost, no matter where they're coming from. Mexico, Florida, it doesn't make a difference. That's the produce business. There are times, because it's a supply and demand business with highs and lows, that if weather affects it, just like any other commodity. That production, after 9/11, I think oil was $10 a barrel. That was under production cost, but they didn't stop producing oil. The same thing about in the produce business. Under production cost, that's just our markets. Putting any kind of false constraints on it, like a floor, doesn't work. It's been proven time and time again. No, I can remember when Calavo, this could have been 10 or 12 years ago, didn't want to go below $20 on avocados, and they tried to hold it. Back then, maybe it was 20 years ago. Calavo was like the big game in town, and we're not going to go under 20. We're not going to go on 20. Yeah, they try to hold it for a while. But the market will go where the market wants to go, and before you know it, the market was 10 or 12 because it was a false market. Just like tomatoes at 8.30 is a false market when production is increased and there's no demand, and it's got to be moved and it's got to be sold. And do you think a farmer would want $5 or dump it? So he can't get 8.30, but maybe he could sell for $5. But because of these constraints, he's got to dump them. It doesn't make sense. So again, it's just something to think about. That I hope my screen freezing didn't stop the video, but I'll keep on talking. Okay, if not, I'll have to do this. Over. Okay, markets. We'll start with red peppers. Red peppers really showed a little resilience in this market, and that's only because the supplies were so short that there really wasn't any room to go down. I have to tell you, this time of year is usually very, very good for the markets, but I'm a little concerned with all the shutdowns going on, and I think that might really hurt all the markets, especially the ones that it's just trying to turn around. I also believe that markets usually, I mentioned this last week, usually the second Wednesday after Thanksgiving, which is this Wednesday, markets start turning around and we start building up for Christmas. So keep that in mind. Every other item, whether it's squash is $3 to $5. Even yellow squash that was really working well in the almost $20 is back down into single digits. Same thing with gray squash. The hard squashes are $8 to $10. The cucumbers, I told you, in single digits. So they're really, again, I think the bargains for you are in the beginning of the week, and I think by Wednesday we'll see these markets start trending upward, and you're going to start seeing buying for Christmas. So keep that in mind. And that's all I have to say this week. We'll keep it brief. Love you. Love the produce business. I was supposed to come to New York this week to celebrate my end of alimony, but I'm not. I'm going to come in the beginning of January, and so if you're in the Texas area and you want to come and celebrate with me, I'm going to have a little extra. I'm going to have a lot of extra cash for like some food and wine. So come and join me. Love you. Love the produce business. Don't let time pass you by. Go do the things that you want to do. And that's all. That's advice from an old produce guy. Take care. Bye.